everybody. My name is Natalie Madigan. I am a Siegel High School alumnus. I was just going to tell you guys a little bit about my journey on how I got to do what I'm doing now, and of course answer any questions if you guys have them. So while I was at Siegel, I was involved in choir with Miss Gregory all 4 years. We love Miss Gregory. She is honestly, like, I'm not just saying this because she's right here, but you've just played such a big role in my career now, and you know, it's nice to have somebody that believes in you from a young age and encourages you to do what you love. And I was lucky enough to have that here while I was in school, and also a family that has been super supportive of me pursuing the arts, which is not always the easiest career route to take. But yeah, I had been interested in music from a really young age. I started out doing musical theater, and I took, I think, like 12 years of classical piano. I think I started that in like first grade, took dance lessons, the whole 9 yards, and just loved to sing, loved to perform, loved being on stage, and didn't really know what I wanted to do with that, but just knew that I loved to do it. And around middle school or early high school, I started writing songs. At that point, I was more just writing songs to have something to sing. Like, I didn't really care that much about what I was writing. I just wanted something of my own to sing, because singing was definitely my first passion. And just continued to write throughout high school. I was tracking a lot of my own demos, literally just in GarageBand on my laptop in my free time, and posting those on SoundCloud at the time, just doing literally whatever I could just to be creative and get my songs and my music out there. And so I think it was my junior year of high school, junior summer going into my senior year here, I was accepted into Grammy Camp Nashville, which is run by the Grammy Foundation. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's an amazing program. It is like a week where you get to just be fully immersed in what the music industry is. And so they select singers, songwriters, producers, and musicians all in high school. And you go for a week and you have your groups, and the songwriters write songs for the singers to sing, and the producers produce it all out, and the instrumentalists play everything for the produced demo. So it's a really cool program, and that totally just changed the trajectory of what I wanted to do. That really solidified, okay, I want to be in the music industry. And of course, everyone here is super lucky to have MTSU literally in your backyard. And for me, I had a lot of just state scholarships from grades and things like that. So I was accepted to MTSU with pretty much I didn't really have to pay for much of anything, so it was kind of a no-brainer just to go there. And they have such an amazing recording industry program. And yeah, so when I started, I started with a major in music industry, and I went through a year of that, and frankly, I was going to have to take 4 semesters of music theory, and I got through 2 of them, and that just about wiped me off the face of the planet. And I was like, okay, I think audio might be more my path. So I switched my major after my freshman year of college and started in the recording. The music industry major is pretty immersive in both the music major side of things and the industry side of things, but with the audio major, you're pretty much strictly in the recording industry building at all times. So my classes there were just tracking music, which was awesome, learning how to run boards in a studio, learning how to work live sound. I worked a lot of festivals and was a part of a lot of different groups at MTSU that just allowed me to immerse myself into the real world music industry. And the classes were amazing. I mean, it's a lot of just late night sessions with your friends, which is super fun and inspiring, and everybody there is pursuing something in the music industry, which is, it's just really nice to be surrounded by people that are like-minded and inspired and really passionate about music and art. And so my time at MTSU was really great, and when you pursue an audio production degree, you get to do a lot of classes, like songwriting classes and various, I think one of my elective classes was literally it was like being in a band for a semester, and you would work with a band, and then you did a performance at the end of the semester, which is awesome. Very, very different than the schoolwork that you do in high school and stuff, and very immersive. So I feel like that really prepared me for the real world and really inspired me and just allowed me to be in the room with a lot of people that were doing what I wanted to be doing. I also took a lot of copyright law classes and things like that to just get very educated on contracts and the business and legal side of the music industry, which is super important as well. So when I graduated MTSU in 2019, and I moved to Nashville, and I started working at Juice Bar. So that was my big break. And I worked there for a few months and then was actually offered a publishing deal. And then that took a few more months to get all the contracts and everything sorted out. And so around January of 2020, I started full-time with my publisher that I'm still with now. So I've been doing music full-time for almost 4 years, which is crazy. And then, of course, 3 months into doing music full-time, the world collapsed, so that was great. But I was really lucky to just get to continue doing what I love to do in that time, and I had actually had a lot of health issues. I had chronic thyroid issues for a long time, and in that time span was able to I worked through a lot of my health issues, ended up having a surgery for my thyroid stuff, and I bring all that up because that was a really big part of my journey as an artist, and just had a lot of mental health hardships with that I feel are very important to my artistry now, and also just important to voice with young people, because I know mental health is can be a big struggle, and that was something I really, really struggled with, and mental and physical health. And so I was able to take some time to take care of myself and get to where I needed to be, and had a company that was very supportive behind me for all of that. And yeah, that kind of ended up unintentionally directly informing all of my artistry, where now a lot of my music is centered around themes of mental health and themes of introspection, and the project that I am releasing, I'm releasing an album in 2 weeks, but the whole theme of it has been yin and yang, and so it's the dark and the light and the good and the bad, and a lot of it is centered around mental health and overcoming those internal issues and bringing light to those things and entering back into the world after a period of darkness. And so yeah, that definitely informed my artistry. I got super into meditation and holistic health, and that's become a big part of my music and my art, and the stories that I like to share, and that I think she mentioned earlier, I think what all my social media is, and Spotify says that my music is psychedelic angel pop, and so that's where all of that stems from. Is just I think during that time of my life, for me, I was kind of diving back into the music I was raised on, which was music from the 60s and 70s, a lot of psychedelic music, and also artists like the Beatles and Pink Floyd and older artists from those generations. And so all of that to say, that time spent just really focusing on my mental and physical health really kind of launched this whole other side of my artistry for me. And yeah, that's kind of where I've been living, the space I've been living in as an artist. And my day-to-day work having a publishing agreement is I go to sessions 2 to 3 times a week, and I just get to write music and meet new people and meet new producers and instrumentalists in Nashville, in LA, in New York. So it's kind of the dream, and I'm getting to have full control over my artistry. So, I mean, while I was here, I took 4 years of art as well as choir, and had Mr. McGoffin and Mr. Pounders as well. And so I'm getting to utilize a lot of those artistic skills as well, between designing my album covers and down to even like my fashion and my outfits, and just getting to collaborate with so many amazing creatives in the entertainment industry, and really just feel like I'm getting to use all of the things that all the skills I amassed here, and take them into the real world and use them on literally a daily basis. And of course now there's like content and things like that with TikTok. I spend a lot of my time in that realm of just like making videos and posting and things like that. So I do a little bit of everything on a daily basis. And then for my own music, my recorded music, I track all my own vocals. I co-produce everything with, I have like 2 main producers that I use in Nashville. But yeah, I have my hands on it all, and I've been really lucky to get to have pretty much full control over what I release, how I release it, what it looks like, what it sounds like. And yeah, I think that's kind of the timeline of of everything, but would love to hear any questions you guys have. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, I just released this song on a project, and it's called Vertigo, and I feel like that song encompasses every like inch of my artistry, and both past and present, and what I hope to be the future. So that song is very, very psychedelic angel pop. It's got a lot of Pink Floyd influences in it, and just very spacey and a little bit left of center, if you will. But yeah, I don't know, that would be, I mean, all of my music is in the pop realm, kind of in the Lana Del Rey world of pop. But yeah, does that answer your question? Cool. Yeah.
Is your show on the second 18 and up?
It is 18 and up. I know. I thought about that before I came here today. I was like, you guys should. Oh. So, unfortunately, but we're filming everything, so you guys can take a look after. Yeah.
You mentioned different locations like LA and
Yeah.
Nashville. Is there a different atmosphere wherever you go? And if so, what is your preferred location?
Yes, that's a really good question. They're all so different. Nashville is a really amazing place to grow, and it's a really great place to learn how to write a song. I mean, you have like the best songwriters in Nashville. It's what it's known for. So I'm really lucky to have grown up so close and to have gotten to live there the last, I think it's been about 4 years now. It's a little bit of a slower pace, but you have a really great music community that's very tight-knit. It's very much like an everybody knows everybody kind of community, whereas you go out to LA, it's massive. I love LA. It's very fast-paced. It's really inspiring to be out there. It's a totally different like landscape. Obviously, you've got like the ocean and the mountains and the desert. Like you can be in a completely different landscape within an hour when you're out in LA. And I spend a lot of time out there. I usually go for a few weeks when I go and just write and create. Eventually, I think I'd like to move out there for a short amount of time. It's weird, like right now in the music industry, you can really make it from anywhere with social media and TikTok and things like that. Like you have this built-in audience on your phone, which is crazy. But I think there are certain things that like you just can't get around. You have to go out to LA and do it. So I definitely recommend visiting and meeting people. And New York is amazing too. I love New York. It's also a lot faster paced. There's not as much going on in like the pop industry coming out of New York right now. There's a lot for R&B and jazz, and I mean just some incredible jazz musicians coming out of New York. And also like a lot of people I know that do indie rock in Nashville produce a lot of their stuff in New York. So it's kind of a cool time to be in the industry because you can be based anywhere and travel and meet people and work with people in other cities, but be based kind of wherever you want to be based. But that's my opinion, at least. Yeah.
How many people that you like knew in college actually succeeded like you?
Let's see. Oh gosh. Well, there's a lot. I think it depends on how you define like success.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, well, not getting into little deep meanings, but general term like that actually made it into the music industry.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I think everybody I knew that was in the recording industry program with me is now doing something in, like all the audio production majors that were wanting to do audio specifically are doing that. I mean, it's like you can't ask for a better program than what MTSU has to offer. And same with music business. With songwriting and artistry, you have a lot of people that work day jobs and then are also pursuing their music and still like going on tours and are very successful with their music. I also wanted to mention that I think we're kind of entering into a time where there's going to be fewer like major pop stars and more people that are making music at a sustainable, like more, I don't want to say like a regular job, but like as producing music becomes more accessible for people to do what?
Down to earth.
Yeah, and just like you'll have more people that are able to do like have a publishing deal and like do music full time, but they might not be like a Taylor Swift or Lana Del Rey or whoever it is. So I think we'll have more, I guess, working class musicians and artists that are able to make a full living doing their artistry without having to be like super famous, because not everybody that does music wants to be famous too. It's like some people just want to be able to write songs and make a living doing that and have other facets of their life that they enjoy and find, inspiration out of. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as the program at MTSU goes and people that I've seen come out of it, I mean, I'd say like 90% of people I know are actively working in the music industry in one form or another. Yeah.
So like I make music, and I tend to get like I have a big problem getting like lost in my music and
Yeah.
working on it so much and then stopping and then like getting burnt out on it and then not coming back to that project until like a month later, and then by that point I have so many new ideas. What's like a tip to like stay balanced?
That's a good question. That is something I struggle with every day. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's really, I've had to teach myself how to take breaks and how to step away from things. Otherwise, the same thing happens where I just get like totally burnt out. I lose the passion for the project, and that's totally not the point of like what you intended to do from the beginning. So honestly, for me, like I spend a lot of time outside. I mean, when the weather's nice, I think I'm outside like 70% of my life. Like I take a lot of breaks and just go walk in like a park, or I mentioned like meditation earlier, things like that. But also other creative outlets like journaling, or I do a lot of visual art still, and I try, you can kind of start to feel it when you're hitting that burnout, and I've tried to teach myself like, okay, this is my cue, I need to like step away from it. But it's great to have other things that you're passionate about, and like I think with any profession, when you make that your whole life, that's just kind of a recipe for burnout. And so I've found a lot of things, and also just like silly things, like things that you do with your friends, like going skating, or like whatever, like just getting out of your own head, because I think as creatives it's so easy to just kind of get locked into this space up here and never come out. And yeah, that's been a big thing, especially over like COVID, because it was like there was nothing else to do but like focus on, you know, you're like in your room just like doing music, and that definitely led to burnout for me. So just finding little things that, and also being in tune with yourself and your body and your mind, and like knowing when to stop and when to like take a break. Yeah.
So you're saying there's people who want to go into music industry and not get famous?
Do what?
You're saying there's people who want to go into the music industry and not get famous?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there, as far as artists go, there's artists that just want to tour, just want to like, I mean, I know so many artists that are making like, that are doing music full time, that are touring, that are releasing projects, but the average like household wouldn't know their name, but they've got a niche fan base that loves and supports them and helps them make a living from it. And yeah, I mean, gosh, so many artists are in that boat, and I think it just depends on a personal preference. And like I was saying earlier, I think that's going to become more and more sustainable for people to do, as just social media has helped people like get their music out there. And you can kind of do anything you want. Like you can make whatever genre of music you want. Like there's going to be a fan base for it somewhere. So that's kind of the cool thing that's come out of this whole social media age and like content age. There's some downsides too, but I mean that's the goal for me. But yeah, I mean I think that's been something too. Like the last like 4 years has allowed me to really kind of figure out like, what do I want to do? Like I mean there's downsides to fame as well. Like there's a lot of normalcies that you don't have in your life anymore, and I feel really lucky to have gotten to be doing music full time, but also created like these foundations for myself between like friendships and my health, mental and physical, and things like that, like all of the relationships that you build. And so now I feel like I have this foundation and kind of a launching pad, and also the things to come back to as my career progresses. And so that's super important, because a lot of people that find fame really early on don't have the chance and the time to create those foundations for themselves. Ooh. Well, I say this because I've been listening to a lot of George Harrison lately. Ooh, is that the wrong answer? All things must pass, I mean. Okay, my dad is like the biggest Beatles head ever. That's like, I was like raised on the documentaries and stuff like that, but I feel like it ebbs and flows. It depends on the mood I'm in. What's your favorite Beatle? Okay, that's fair. That's a good answer. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that you got your question answered.
Yes.
Watching the time, will you be playing something for us today?
I will, if you guys want me to.
There were a few more questions.
Yeah.
Just be ready this time.
Like, I know you said Alana and the Beatles were like some of your inspo, but other famous you listen, like get inspo or anything like that?
Yeah, as far as like older artists go, people like Mazzy Star and Nancy Sinatra, Nora Jones. I think I mentioned Pink Floyd. Also like random groups from the 60s, the Shangri-Las and people like that. I love all things 60s and 70s. And then as far as modern day artists, I love Chapel Roan. I know she's been like really popping off lately. She's amazing. Mitski. I love like Noah Cyrus. Gosh.
St. Vincent?
Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of amazing artists right now. But I know there's probably so many that I'm missing off the top of my head. But off the top of my head, that's who. When I can, it's tough. Like, I mean, I think that even just like 10 minutes of like sitting with yourself is so good. Like just starting your day off, because it's you know, we live in a time, especially having social media and like our phones like right at our fingertips, where you're kind of just like not in your body most of the day, or you're like thinking about a million different things. And a lot of times that like mental stress is like not as bad as you think it is if you just kind of sit with yourself and give it some time. And whatever you want to call it, doesn't have to be like meditation. It can be just like quiet time or whatever you're comfortable with. But like journaling and meditation has been huge just for my mental health personally. Yeah.
Do you have any tips on songwriting?
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like studying your favorite artists and how, like, watching documentaries and also just studying the lyrics of their songs and the melodies in their songs and, like, all of that. As far as just my personal growth has gone, I feel like with my artistry as a whole, just like learning how to let go and not be afraid. I think when I first started my career, I was very much afraid of like the outside opinion and like, well, if I say this, is that gonna be like weird, or like, are people gonna like judge me for saying X, Y, and Z? And really the great artists just don't care. And so I would say, you know, stop overthinking it, just write. And also, not everything you write has to be the song. Like, just writing just to write, and like allowing your music and your lyrics to just flow with what's going on in your actual life, instead of having this separation of career and artistry and then the life that you're living, because the goal is to kind of mesh that into one and have it kind of in that flow state. But yeah. And just doing it like every chance that you get is really helpful. Yeah.
Do you think the pandemic was like a bad opportunity for you, or like a good one? Turned out better or worse?
You know, I think I've weirdly had the most traction for my music since the pandemic happened, and a lot of that was because of TikTok. There's the other side of that, where I feel like TikTok has kind of watered down a lot of music. I also think we're moving past the like stage of TikTok virality like being the end all be all for artists. Like there was like 2020 and 2021 was so like that's like the only way, and like labels were only signing people that were going viral. And I think now people kind of view it as you know, just a platform, another way to get to where you're going. But as far as personally, I mean, like I said, I dealt with a lot of like mental and physical health issues at that time, and if I hadn't had the space and the time that the pandemic created, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. And I mean, to give you guys some perspective, I had like, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but like I had like all these nodules growing on my neck, and it had like gotten to a point where it was messing with my vocal range. I lost like 2 notes of my vocal range, and it's a whole thing. So like, yeah, for me, it was really, really like if I hadn't had that time to have that surgery and like recover and like not be stressed about the next thing or releasing or whatever, like I don't think I would be where I'm at right now. So there's blessings in everything, but yeah, there's a lot of downsides to the pandemic as well, but choosing to focus on the positive.